My career started off as a special education teacher. When my students found out that there were kids in this world that did not have the right to go to school, inspired them. The concept behind the Haiti School Building Project was a small handful of youth in Toronto would help a small handful of youth here in Haiti. The Haiti School Building Project finally opened up last year, September 2018. It has successfully been running for 7 months now, and what I have seen is nothing shy of beautiful. One person with the support of others can literally transform the planet.
Today, over 1 billion children in the world live in poverty. At Help Heal Humanity, our goal is to connect children in need with people like you who want to make a difference. Our student sponsorship program helps provide children with the necessities for a healthy and successful start to life. When you sponsor a student, you're not only giving them the gift of education, you're giving them the best chance for a brighter future. 100% of your donation supports the tuition fees, uniforms, textbook, and school supplies needed to thrive in a safe and healthy learning environment. Sponsor a student now and be the catalyst for their brighter future.
Hello, lady. I'm looking at your face like, what's going on?
Good evening, Miss Queen. How are you?
Well, good evening, Miss Queen. You know, we call each other queens and all the women. Yes. Yes. And I just want to say, lady, I missed you today. It's been kind of a different day for me. And I said, I didn't get to see Serena. Oh no,
Well,
but I can see you now.
Maybe I've passed on the torch because, as you know, the last month, maybe even almost 2 months, has been so hard for me and so difficult. Like even this week, like, because a lot of people have been checking in on me because it's not like me to not be okay, right? And it's like, I'm like, I think I'm okay. I think I'm good. Like it just, I had like 10 things happen all at the same time and it was just too much to navigate, but now I'm okay. So maybe I've passed the baton on to you. And now today is day one of not working out for Barbara. Hopefully it doesn't last as long as mine did.
Okay, I'm gonna have to put that torch somewhere in the corner because I don't need it to last too many days. 1 or 2 days, okay. When it gets to be weeks and months, then that's when I get a little bit kind of like, okay, Serena, I need you.
Yeah, no, now it's okay. Now you held me for a couple months, so now I'll hold you, my queen.
We help each other. Yes, I like that.
Just like we help each other, and just like we help Heal Humanity on this podcast, we also highlight all the great work other charities are doing. So today we have a special show. We have not one, but two charities.
Technically that's where we have one great one coming on right afterwards. The other one, she's coming on next time, but that's okay. That's okay. We still have our other queen coming on. And right. I always get real giggy. I get real excited because just learning about not just how Help Heal Humanity helps the world, and I love you so much, but just seeing all these other people that we didn't even know. You and I always say all the time, we're like, we didn't even know there was a charity.
I've been telling people about the podcast and how, obviously how great it is to showcase the great work that HHH is doing, but how much I'm learning about other charities and especially the USA because, I'm from Canada, right? So, and then, it's interesting to hear what's happening in the US and what charities are doing out there. And just, I think you can see a difference in the way the countries operate and the way we run things. So it's been educational, it's been insightful, and what more could you ask for? I'm excited for today's guest. I see it down here.
Oh,
And
yeah. Eldana Fernandez. So let me before we do that, I want to make sure people understand who she is and the wonderful work that she's doing in the world. Just understand another world changer. So she is called Baskets and Beads, and they are committed to supporting the women in Kenya. Their mission is to help them get out of poverty and create a better life for themselves and their families, sending their children to school and ensuring a brighter future. Baskets and Beads provides a hand up, not a hand out, by marketing their handcraft items, and they are beautiful. So we're going to hear this queen and see you. I always see the connection already with you and her, especially when it comes to different country, helping the women, the children. So this is going to be awesome. So before we even do that, we got to pay our sponsors just a little bit of love. And then once they get their love, just a little twitch. And then once they get that love, we're going to show a lot of love to our nonprofit person. Here we go.
Let's go.
There she is.
Hey.
Hello.
How you doing, Queen? I call her the queens. You look awesome. I'm already seeing the wonderful jewelry and the purses and the bags. And oh my God, I want to go shopping.
Well, we can arrange that.
Believe me, we will hook up. I want to make sure we do that. Me and Serena, I got to get her a present anyway. So see, already, lady, you're getting me ideas for my friends.
I actually just brought these purses back from Kenya. My last trip was in June, so I brought those back with me.
Those are beautiful.
I'm going to obviously let you speak, but isn't Baskets and Beads kind of all over the place for Kenya? I feel like I've seen it in shops around Canada. No?
Not yet, but that would be great.
Okay, well, maybe we're manifesting it tonight.
I'll receive that.
Yeah. I'm saying thanks, Serena. Just put it out there.
Yes. Need more wholesale. That helps the ladies.
Yeah. So I always ask, and we're going to get this conversation, not just an interview, but just get to know you and your wonderful nonprofit, what you're doing for ladies in Kenya. But first, I always want to ask, because you're huge. You're a celebrity, lady. I was reading you and looking at you on YouTube. I'm like, wow, she's doing great things. So I just wanted to tell the audience, where did you, come up with the nonprofit? What pushed you and motivated you with your heart to do this?
Well, in February 2018, I went on a mission trip with a group, and I felt a calling to go there and went, and we were serving they had been going there for over 20 years. The leader was a retired pastor from my church, and he'd been going to Kenya over 20 years. And I went and intended to simply serve where was needed. And we went around and we were giving food and supplies and things and inspiration and meeting all different people that they'd served over the years. And the last place we went was this place called the Kipsongo Slum, where these ladies were singing and dancing, and they were so full of joy. And then I found out that they made these beads. Actually, one lady, Patricia, gifted me with a necklace made out of magazines. That's kind of like these over here, wherever they are. These are made out of magazines or paper beads. And she gifted me one and wanted sponsorship for her son to go to school. And I found out somebody had given them a micro loan from a previous trip, and they were making these products, and woke up in the middle of the night with a God-inspired idea to buy some beads and sell them with my book when I was speaking. And the name Baskets and Beads was in my heart. And I came back with half a suitcase of beads and sold out I was speaking at an International Women's Day event, March 2018, and pretty much sold out, doubled the order, sold out. We started with 5 women. We're up to over 30. And and actually we're expanding to other groups around Kenya.
I was like, that's it. Serena's on mute.
Sorry. No, I think that's fabulous. I mean, I'd love to learn more, but you said, like, again, you were brought down to one of the slums. And again, when you walked in there, I'm sure the conditions in which you see are harsh and devastating, but then there's the spirit of these ladies dancing, rejoicing, singing, praising, and if that isn't a lesson in humanity, I don't know what is. Like I always said, the people that we serve, they actually inspire us more than we do them, and they do more for us than we do for them.
Exactly.
So, I mean, I can't imagine that. So then you met the ladies. One of them tried to gift you this magazine necklace. You brought it back, and then what? How did that happen? Like you just brought it back, you sold some, and then you were like, wait, I need. Like, how did it turn into a nonprofit? I guess.
Well, I arranged for. So I have a director in Kenya, and it's very interesting. None of this stuff happens by accident. She had the same idea to empower these women, and they do live in little mud huts, no running water, kitchen, bathrooms. The mud hut's about the size of a little storage shed in most cases. And them and all their family live there together. They usually separate it they put up a curtain to make sort of 2 rooms out of it. And I met with some of the ladies, bought some beads, brought them back, and I started selling them. And I started thinking, okay, what I really want to do is get these women out of the slum. How can we do that? I want to help educate their children, that they all need school fees. Let me see if I can start selling some beads and what else I can do. And I kept selling more and more beads. I've been to Kenya 7 times since February 2018. I just came back, like I said, in June of this year. I went June of last year. Of course, the COVID break kept me from going for a while, but it figured I wanted to go ahead and establish a nonprofit to see how we could raise money for school fees, because that's a big thing, educating children. And, I saw the video about what's going on in Haiti. It's the uniforms, the supplies, the school fees. Most families can't afford that. No. And we were starting to really get a momentum building, had a lot of wholesale customers, I was in 3 retail. I had rented space in 3 retail locations. And I was also professionally speaking. And then COVID hit. Almost all of my wholesalers went out of business. And of course, everyone stopped ordering. I had to pull out of 2 of the 3 stores. I'm still in 1. And it's been restarting from March 2020. So I was there. I got back maybe 2 weeks before the shutdown from COVID. I was over there in February, to the end of February 2020. And from March 2020 through January of this year, 2022, we raised enough money to make sure that we fed 33 women and over 80 kids all through the pandemic, because there's no food banks or food pantries or food stamps. So they would have starved. Obviously, we weren't able to order more from them. And it's a hand up, not a handout. But at that time, we had to give something so they could survive.
It's exactly what you said. Because you work in Kenya, well, we work in Haiti, we work in other countries too. But like that level of devastation, that I don't think unless you've been there and experienced it, you could ever, ever, ever comprehend it. And it's true. It's like, like I understand when you say the mud huts and these women and families living literally in dirt, in rubble. They don't even have $1 a day. They don't have income. And now they're supposed to somehow provide clean water, which is next to impossible, in these places. And then, put food in the kid's belly. next to impossible. And then, like you said, the education fees, this is something else that I feel like we all take for granted because, in the North Americans, there's public school system, you go to school, you don't pay for it. If you choose to go to a private school, that's there for you. But just, public education is not granted in these developing countries, right? Which is why it's similar to you. We're dealing with all these households, mainly women, multiple children, no income, no food, no running water, no electricity, no employment. And, when you meet the women, the family, the children, you see their spirit, you see their determination. And so it's like you said, it's not really a handout. It's these people are human. They deserve a right like everyone else. Nobody's giving them that opportunity. And then charities such as yourself or such as Help Heal Humanity form. But it's still significantly difficult to get people to donate to these causes, right?
Right now we're sponsoring 10 kids. We have 2 kids that are pretty much completely sponsored, and then another 8 that we just took on to sponsor for school fees, uniforms. And then when they get to Form 1, which is like our version of high school, the fees go way up, and a lot of it's boarding. So you have to have all the stuff for boarding, and every month is supplies. So when they go, they have to have new uniforms, and they have to have all the books and things, and they will stand outside the school, check. Oh, you don't have this? Sorry, go. You don't have your school fees? Go. And one of the kids, he's in Form 1, and it was almost $1,000 and I'm thinking an American family would have a hard time. Some American families coming up with that to pay school fees, but his mind, he's got an engineering mind, and he's interested in engineering, specifically robotics. What can he do with the proper education? So I am so committed to making sure kids like that get educated, because you don't know what he can create, what his gift is, what he might be able to do for humanity.
Yes. Definitely.
Yeah, I keep crossing my fingers over here that we have 100 students in our school program, and we have, very similar, $1,000 to send them to school with, tuition fees, meal plans, all the rest. And I keep saying, and even just now I was talking to a few of our other board members, like Christopher, who's here today. It's like, we work, we give. And we just got to hope and trust and believe and have faith that somehow it's going to come back to us, and or these children become the future leaders, and they remember HHH was there to support their education. So now that you're in the world, and hopefully you're doing well because of that brilliant mind, maybe they can become part of our charity and give back to us and keep us going. But we never know the impact that we're making, but it does take significant people with big hearts, big minds, big souls to do the work that we're doing. And so I appreciate you. So maybe, tell people how.
Well, before we get there, we do have a clip for Eleanor and what she's doing. So I want to play this clip so everybody can see the work that they're doing. So just give me a minute here. I just got to do tech stuff. And we're going to share a little bit here, and then we'll get back into discussing here. Here we go. Amazing.
I get emotional when I see that. I miss those women so much.
Oh,
They're my family. I love them so much.
So I was just doing the math, like 2018 is not that long ago. Like what a, you know, a hard time. Like that's actually 2018 is when we became incorporated, but I had been working on my own for a good 15 years before we became incorporated. But like, you know, that's a hard time. Like you said, you have like you just launch, you just get yourself out there, then you got to deal with a pandemic. And then with the pandemic came like way, way, way more tremendous loss in these developing countries than people could ever think. Like, it's so sad because I know a lot of, you know, Canadians, Americans are, you know, fighting for their rights or fighting for justice or fighting for this and fighting for that. And I believe it. But then when you actually see what's happening in these places and how like literally a little glass of water can save a life and you can't even find that, every minute is a matter of life and death. So maybe tell us, how do people like, how does Basket and Beads work, and you know, how do people find you? Maybe tell us.
Well, basically our phrase is empowering women, educating children. We're creating sustainable social enterprises and building self-sustaining families through entrepreneurship, one woman at a time. And a lot of these women, their husbands may have been killed during tribal wars, or they simply left. There's several of the ladies who had husbands and children killed during tribal wars. So the goal is to empower the women to be able to send their kids to school. And while we're doing that, we are raising funds to make sure we can put as many kids in school as we can. And it's very grassroots, but we're working it. Basketsandbeadskenya.com is the website. That's the website that has mostly the products. The foundation name is Dynamic Vision Foundation, which is at basketsandbeadskenya.org, but you can get there through the .com site as well, because there's a link down below. I
can't hear her. Can you?
She was on mute. She's back.
I don't know if I had muted, but so I unmuted. Technology, gotta love it. I was speaking professionally before COVID, and I ended up having to take a corporate job. So I'm working a job on top of this and working on getting the business back. We're creating new products. Like we made dog bandanas, which the ladies thought were hysterical because they don't have pets like we do. It's like, what? You want to make what? Trust me. We put bandanas on our dogs, and creating new products, getting more wholesale customers, getting more opportunities, which will ultimately give them the opportunities to feed their children and go put their kids in school and have a sustainable life. That's where it comes to hand up, not hand out. Now, there's been threats that the slum's going to be shut down. The government wants to take it over. And we have a dream to buy some land and build a place for them to actually manufacture the products and have some real housing for them. Thankfully, the person who put in the 3 wells in the slum that had the pumps and the wells had stopped working. He went there this past month and sent me pictures that the wells are working again. So they now have water coming out of the wells, which is amazing, wonderful, brilliant. And it's kind of a step-by-step, very grassroots thing. We took our women on the road to have a women's conference and we're going to have our ladies share how they built community, because that was something that was unheard of. They didn't really trust each other. They'd never really gathered together, and they learned how to do that and support each other. And we went up to another place called Mount Elgon, and those women got together and formed a group called Mount Elgon Women of Faith, and they want to start farming. So we're getting into farming now. We're going to put up the initial funds to get it going and work with them so they can earn some income. Our ladies can get the food at a reasonable price, and then we can put money back into the NGO that we've set up over there that we're waiting to get approved. So a lot of things happening.
Well, the one thing that you said that I absolutely love and adore is like, now we're doing farming, not part of the plan, but that's a true, in my mind, that's a true charity humanitarian, because it's not about what you or the charity wants. It's about listening to the stories and the needs of the people. And now we're doing a farm. Who knows whatever they need that will help them be sustainable and self-sufficient, we will help. And that's, that I love that. It's all about empowering the women and giving them what they need to be successful, and not what you or I or anybody thinks they need. So
we had a really amazing thing happen, because in their tribe, they're from the Turkana tribe, and the Turkana tribe they have tribal elders that are men, and usually women take a lesser role. Well, because our women are organized as a community, and every time the tribal council would make a change, they would say, oh, no, we, the women of Baskets and Beads, have a problem with that. They invited our leader, Dorcas, who's the leader in Kipsongo, onto the tribal council, because they said, every time we go to make a change, you all come forward, and there's too many of you, so you need to be on the tribal council. So there's a woman on the tribal council of this tribe. It's just amazing.
Yeah. Congratulations. Those are big milestones. I think sometimes people hear that and they don't really realize how powerful that is. So congratulations. Barbara?
Wow. Well, yeah. I mean, I'm loving the conversation. I'm just loving it. But one thing I wanted to say, and I always say this, when I look at people in the other countries like Kenya and Haiti, that I know, Serena is really close to, and they're just so happy. They're dancing, they're singing, and look where they're at. And sometimes we have everything here, because we do, and we're miserable, we're depressed. I mean, it's like we go through, and I'm like, but look at, they're in the slums, and they're sitting there still finding a way to have positive, just their own being. And, I feel like we should all learn from them. We really need to just learn and take that in. Have you noticed that when you went over there?
Oh yeah, I get disgusted every time I come home at the gluttony here. The thing is that most of them don't have smartphones or cell phones. They're not inundated with ads about stuff. They could care less about, oh, you have to be this kind of person or this, or if you don't look like this, or all this stuff. You have to have stuff. That's kind of an American, or I don't know, European and whatever, North American thing. And that's all they want, is to be able to put their kids in school and to be safe. That slum is very unsafe. We've had some things happen to our ladies that have not been very good. A couple of our ladies are diabetic, and being able to get them medical care and having them to be able to get their children medical care and things like that. That's all they care about. And when I'm there, we always start out singing and we dance and we just have a great time. This last trip, we took the ladies on an outing to a park, and they had like little boat rides you could take, and we walk around and look at some animals. Then we had a picnic, and they were playing soccer/football. And then they were like, oh, we want to dance. I forgot I taught them how to do things like the Cupid shuffle and those kind of things. So we did all that, and they were having so much fun and just so full of joy. But even when I meet them, they're happy anyway. They know how to be happy anyway.
Yeah, it just amazes me, and then they welcome you. I was going to ask you about that, because I never asked Serena about that either. When you do go to the other countries, it seems like they really just welcome you in. Sometimes I would think that they would probably be upset because we're coming from somewhere where we have certain things, we running water and everything, but it seemed like they just welcome you all in. Is that how it just automatically does that?
I felt welcomed, and when Patricia gave me that necklace, I was very touched, because she had those things to sell and she was gifting me something that just really touched me. But they thought in their head, we'll never see her again. Then I came back. It took about 3 times. When I came back the 3rd time, they were like, okay, maybe she's for real, because they constantly, a lot of people come through there, they get their hearts touched, and they want to do something, and then it's normal. You come back and life happens, life's in session, and life was still in session, but it was so strong in my heart. It was such a calling for me to work with those women. I didn't know which way it was going to go. I just said yes, that I kept going back, and they were like, oh, okay, she's for real. And I actually went, Layla, the director in Kenya, always likes to pull surprises. And last year when I went after COVID, she's like, we're not going to tell them you're coming. And of course, we drive up and I sort of stand out like, what? Look at that hair. Who is that? That's Aldana. You're kidding. They were hugging me. It was so wonderful to see them. And I enjoy it thoroughly, but they're grateful when I'm coming. They're happy when I'm coming. And we're doing different things now, so we're taking them to empower other women.
And it's so true, like you said, and this is sad. Like it's sad because they're so appreciative of what we do, and the fact that we are there and we continue to go there. I get so embarrassed when the community will come up to me and the community leaders will have like a mango and or an avocado and be like, "Thank you, sister," and I'm like. I'm embarrassed. I don't want to take your stuff. Like, I don't need your stuff, but they're like, no, you have to take it. But it's just like, and then when I sit there sometimes and I'm like, okay, we're coming back tomorrow. Like, what can I bring you? And it's like you said, it's this, they don't want a lot. They don't ask for a lot. They don't need a lot. It's really the basics. Like, if you can help me with the school fees or you can help me with food, then I'm happy. There's not like 2, 3, 4 things that they need. It's not like, it's like, if you can just spare a little bit, that will mean the world to me. And that's all that I need. And so it's just this appreciation that, that is just so humbling. And I love the work that you do. But yeah, I tell people it shouldn't have to take me going to Haiti to be treated like a queen.
That's what it seemed like. They treat you all like royalty, and it's so awesome to see that, and we just take it for, people just take stuff for granted.
Well, it's because, I mean, we are impacting their life in such a significant way, and they see that we are giving the time and the energy to them. So they're nothing but respectful back to us. And again, that's what I mean. It's like, I'm sure it's like, once you live it, experience it, then, until you do that, no matter what the words are, it's really hard to explain. But so I have a question, like, where do the beads, where do the products, where does the merchandise come from? Is everything, do you buy that all in Kenya? They make it all in Kenya, and then
This is all made by the ladies that I work with. I have another group that I get soapstone from, and then we're expanding to other groups now here and there. But so, for instance, I ordered for my last trip small purses, and that's what these are. And they're really, it's a canvas that they get there, and they get in Nairobi. They live about 8 hours from Nairobi. This is a beautiful African print, you know, and they make
that's pretty. That is
we
beautiful.
actually had somebody from Nairobi go to teach them how to make these purses, so that they could, that's another product they could make. Everybody pretty much makes the paper beads. I have a bracelet on, actually. Everybody makes these. These are all hand rolled out of magazines. And what I do, I ship through DHL when I'm not there, but what I did this time, like I always do, I can bring 3 suitcases and I pay for a 4th because it's a lot cheaper. Well, I ended up figuring how much I could bring back, and I ended up with 5 suitcases. And a little bit, I take as little personal stuff. Usually when I go there, I take things like underwear. This time I took new t-shirts. They made skirts for us all. So we had our little uniforms. We have our matching baskets and beads outfits now. And I will place the order, and then Layla will coordinate it with Dorcas, and we'll get it. And then what doesn't fit ends up being shipped. She has a bunch of stuff that I need to get shipped over. But that's kind of how I do it. I usually get an order when I go, and then throughout I'll say, okay, need some more of this, need some more of that, and then they'll make it, and Layla will get it and ship it to me.
Wow. That is awesome. Well, Donna, it's like time to go so quick. So I just want to, before we, we chime off, I want to give you like 30 seconds just for any lasting thoughts to the audience. I mean, I'm going to take myself and Serena down for 30 seconds, and please say whatever you need to say, because I want them to know how you're just is world changing, and that, we need them to help your organization. So we'll be right back.
Oh, awesome. Well, thanks so much. I appreciate that. And our ultimate purpose is to take them from poverty to prosperity until every woman in poverty is empowered to sustainability through entrepreneurship or employment. Our desire is to train the women to have skills and enable their children to go to school, because education is the key. You can empower through education. I even tell people that here when I retire. I'm a retired Air Force veteran. When I retired from the military, I told that as my retirement speech, I'm like, education is the key. You can't get anywhere without education. And education is simple as reading, writing, learning those type of things, and being able to get basic health care. And that's why we're starting with the empowering of women, so they can be able to sustainably help their children, and help their children to have success, not only through getting the health care and then also being able to go to school, but then developing those particular skills into whatever type of thing that they want to do in life. For instance, Aloys, the young man I alluded to earlier, he is in his first year of high school, will be going into his second year soon. They go for a year in school, and he's interested in robotics and engineering. And I just can only imagine what he can do with the right education. So education is the key. Empowering children with education, empowering women to have an entrepreneurial skill. A social enterprise incubator model is basically what we're doing, building sustainable social enterprises, one woman at a time.
Yeah.
Amazing. Look at what you said.
Yes. No, I love it. I love it. And, I'm going to go take a look there at your website. And I just think the work that you're doing is so impactful. It's so inspiring. The women are being, impacted. They're working hard for it. And in return, their students, hopefully their children can go to school. And so thank you for being the warrior and the healer and the woman that you are. And, like you said, it's since 2018 and it keeps growing, and you just got to keep doing the work and keep serving. And to all our audience and all of our listeners, please go and check out Baskets and Beads Kenya.org.
Yeah. And I just want to say, everybody, please check out. We bring these wonderful world changers because, it's nice to know what they're doing, but it's even better if you just look and just connect and see what's needed. And this is awareness too for everybody. So thank you, Eldana, for coming on. We always ask you to come back. So if there's something, things that you're doing within your organization, if you just want to just come back and we have another conversation, you are welcome to our show anytime.
Oh, I'm happy to come back. I'm actually planning a trip next year, and people are asking to go with me, so I'd be happy to talk about that.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
definitely.
Yes.
Yeah, let's connect. So we do it before you go, so we can come on and you can tell people about the trip. That'd be
And
awesome.
those are the best. You know, we do groups to Haiti. We call them Travel for Humanity, Travel with Purpose. And as you know, the minute people get to see it, live it, experience, you've done your job, and then hopefully they get just as hooked as you. So, yeah, come back and talk about it, and maybe we'll get some people to come and join you in African experience.
You never know. So thank
Yeah,
you, Queen.
awesome.
You
Thanks
take
so
care.
much for having me.
Bye. Woo-wee. Wonderful, Queen. This is awesome because remember earlier I said, I don't know. I know we're supposed to have two tonight, but we're having two tonight. So Marie Haley just came in. I'm so glad we got connected real quickly, and we're going to hear about another wonderful nonprofit, Serena. You ready?
I'm ready. Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's go, Barbara.
So let me introduce her real quickly, then I'm going to bring her on. Mrs. Marie Haley. She is a part of an organization called, and hopefully she corrects me, I think it's Forward Revolution. And it's based that they provide those impact by the feminine and diversity recession with money and choices, which equals power. They provide upskilling, reskilling, mental, social, emotional support, scholarships for certifications, and so much more so that people can custom craft their life work experience. Woo-hoo, I can't wait. See, I guess. Okay, but again, we gotta, Serena, we gotta show this a little, quick little love. And this is what we're gonna do real quick.
Today, over 1 billion children in the world live in poverty. At Help Heal Humanity, our goal is to connect children in need with people like you who want to make a difference. Our student sponsorship program helps provide children with the necessities for a healthy and successful start to life. When you sponsor a student, you're not only giving them the gift of education, you're giving them the best chance for a brighter future. 100% of your donation supports the tuition fees, uniforms, textbook, and school supplies needed to thrive in a safe and healthy learning environment. Sponsor a student now and be the catalyst for their brighter future.
There she is.
Ladies, so nice to see you and hear you.
Oh my God, so nice to see you, lady. Because I've been waiting for this because I know you were scheduled earlier, and then I know something happened with family wise. So hopefully everything is okay and you're doing well, you and your family. And then tonight I was like, okay, we got to get you on, what you on. So I'm glad that you were able to make it.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you for following up with me. Thank you for keeping up with me because I am a hot mess 95% of the time. But it's on brand.
What Serena said, me too. You have some sister love here. So, Ms. Marie, we want to get right into your story, lady, because you are helping so many people in what you're doing in your organization. So please give us your story. Pull that curtain so we know what happened, what's going on.
Y'all ready for the deep stuff?
I was Serena's face like, mm-hmm.
So here we go.
Here we go.
So I had a miraculous blessing of starting a family and a business with a man that I had been in love with for 10 years before we ever got to be a family. And the world moved everything to put us together. Literally, we were hired by the same company who didn't even know we were together to move to Texas right after I asked for divorce. It all came together. And we knew that Texas was not for the two of us. We are two Chicago people, and we run in Chicago circles, and we have a Chicago swagger. And we're like, we need to go home to the people that make the most sense to us. And we combined his sales coaching and my marketing company together, which if you have bad leads, you can't sell. If you can't sell and you have good leads, it's still pots. So it was like lightning in a bottle. We blew past our first year's goals in 3 months. It was lightning in a bottle. It was beautiful. And 7 months after we opened, he passed. 49, there was no notice. And I had a 4-year-old and 3 weeks to figure out what the was going to do.
Oh, wow.
But we had created this entire system of sales and marketing on the premise of professional love, which means you ask the tough questions, you say the hard things, you do the right thing by every person that's in front of you. And it's not about convincing people. It's about finding the beautiful alignment that helps your business actually grow.
Yes.
And so I walked through that and I was like, okay, I'm lucky. I have my ride or die. I have my Laura, who was my best friend since she was making slutty comments in the back of my belly dancing class. And I had to be like, yo, girl, there's a 13-year-old up here, but we're going to have Cosmos later. Like, we got it. And like soulmates, you know, when you find that sister that is like beyond what you thought a sister could be.
Yes.
And when Jim passed, she lived with me 3 days a week to help me take care of my baby. She was my office manager. She was the person that put me back together. Every time I needed to just shred because grief, there is no book that is going to walk you through grief. You got to walk through it yourself.
Yeah.
And learning how to grieve on brand so you don't lose all of your clients. Word. Like that is one of the toughest things I think anybody can ever walk through. And she passed 16 months after Jim did.
No, she didn't.
Oh, no.
Both of them were under 50. No notice. And Lily and I lost our entire chosen family in the span of 16 months.
Ugh.
And then the recession hit, or the pandemic hit. And it was me and my then 7-year-old daughter in a basement apartment in Chicago, trying to survive Chicago Public School District's version of what education should be. And I was like, wow, I've been through a lot. And this is making me crack. And then I saw the feminine recession. And I broke as a human. I was just like, how? How? Why? What on earth is going on? And I was lucky. I have, listen, for anybody out there that is in business for themselves, find your business girlfriends that will tell you you are full of crap, you are out of your damn mind, whatever it is. It's those truth speakers, those soothsayers, those call me when you need to women, because they're going to save your life. And one of my heroes said, you've been an entrepreneur since you were 22. Why aren't you making choices anymore? And I was like, oh, I forgot I had choices. I don't have to do this the way the public school system says I have to do it, which interrupts my day over and over and over again. And if my kid's only getting 2 hours with a teacher a day, I can do 2 hours between when I stop working and when dinner starts. And then I was like, wait a minute, there has to be more people out there that are going through this. If we look at the February recession, 2.1 million women were pink listed, lost their jobs in the first 3 months. And let me tell you, those numbers did not change. But what they started to do was include a diversity recession, a degree recession, and a disability recession. And then I realized that when I get really mad, I start businesses. It is not my finest quality by far. Usually ends up costing me a lot of money, but like that, I have this, like I'm sure many of you do, I have this internal voice that says, if not you, then who? And if not now, then when? And so I started thinking, I was like, you know what do the people that are going through the same thing that are not entrepreneurial need? They need mental, social, and emotional support. Because they were just told that, hey, thanks for doing what you were told for 20 years. We told you you had a voice. Not exactly true. We told you you were valuable. Now you're disposed of. And now the first, and I'm going to say this with love, the first single white guy that walks by that can fill your job is going to take their job and make more money than you did. But maybe someday you can come back and work for him. No. So I was preaching this message because I had the breakdown / vision in October of 2020, and we opened the nonprofit in January of 21, because I was a woman on fire and I knew that people needed what I was putting together. And
so what exactly is it that you're putting together?
So what you're seeing in front of you is our for-profit website, which is at revenue. What we put together with Forward Revolution is a system of mental, social, and emotional support with the ability to listen. If you just got removed from your job, you've got to stay at the top of your industry. If you're in marketing and you're out for any amount of time, it's gonna run past you. And the messed up thing is, when women get pushed out of their jobs, for every 6 months that they're out, they lose 5 years of seniority.
Wow. Yeah. It's so sad. Marie, that's so sad. Yeah.
It's sad. It's like, to me, it's soul shaking, because with everything women have to put in to get there, to have the backslide be so incredibly fast and incredibly detrimental. Most women will never recover their career. And then we focus on, okay, if you were at mid or senior level, how do we help you keep your skills exactly where they need to be so that you can re-enter the workforce in a heartbeat? If you need to find something that actually speaks to your soul and give you choices that are more than like Uber and Uber, how can we do that? One of the things that we really took to heart is white women make 79 cents on the dollar. Latina women make 52 cents on the dollar, because they culturally were brought up to understand that you should just be thankful for what was put in front of you and not ask for more. And I am an ask for more kind of woman.
Yeah. Marie, I'm feeling you, because I totally, because I work in corporate, like I have my business, but then during the day, I've been working in corporate for over 30 some years. And I know, far as women, there's a lot of work, a lot. And even with the pay, like you just said, between the different, races of women, that it's going to take. I mean, I seen a survey that said within 20, 30, not even how many years, we still won't catch up to the pay that we're supposed to get. So I'm glad that you created this nonprofit and stood up after what you went through. I mean, that's, I always tell people, either you're going to be victorious or, just a victim. And you decided through all the hurt and the pain that you're going through to say, I still have to stand strong and do this. I commend you.
So I have one saying, and that's, sometimes you got to put your lipstick on and keep walking.
Like that.
And that was not, honestly, I started wearing red lipstick because it kept people from looking at my eyes, because I was crying all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And if I put on red lips, they looked somewhere else.
Yeah.
And it was, if we get to show up authentically in our lives and be like, look, this is where I've been. This is where I came through. If I'm not for you, that's okay. I don't need to be for everybody. And Lord knows, I don't want. Are we allowed to cuss on your show?
Yes.
Well, not too much. Let's make it PG.
No, don't listen to me. Listen to Barbara.
We got to be sure.
We do not want the assholes. We do not want the people that are judgy wudgy was a bear. Like, we're done. Like, I can't. And so one of the things that we set up, and this came from my experience of grief, was when Jim passed, I put in my employee manual, tears are acceptable in this office. And if you're not okay with that, it's okay for you to leave the room. I'm not going to pretend that I can walk through this world and see his writing on everything and Laura's writing on everything and how much they inspired me. And I realized how much authenticity we have lost in being business owners, in being humans.
Yeah.
And when the pandemic stripped us of that, I was like, baller.
Yeah.
If you're on my team and you show up with a kid hanging off the side of your head, that is how you show up, and it is fine.
Yeah.
It is acceptable. It is lovable. It is you. Because we remember that commercial, right? With the woman holding a mug up to hide her child.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah, that's my baby right there. And
Oh,
she comes into every meeting.
look at the little. I love that.
Like, this is how we have to show up. And if we're trying to convince people that they have to show up a different way, we're failing.
Yeah.
We're failing.
Yeah. We have to be ourselves. Like you just said, Marie, it's time we have to be who we are. We can't be somebody else. And it's time out for all that. And it really, and then people need to start respecting that. And how they respect that is if you come true to yourself and say, I'm standing strong in it. So it's up to you to like it or not. And you're right. And I'm loving how you're teaching your children. See, I like that because you're teaching, now the generation needs to show up that way. And sometimes the young teaches me. They be showing up and seem like the older ones, we kind of act like, oh, better not. But the young ones are coming out. I mean, I'm seeing it. I've seen it through the years of the pandemic when they were standing strong and walking and doing the protests and stuff. So, it's important.
I just really appreciate you. I mean, to know you have turned your pain into suffering. I mean, you have turned your pain and suffering into something magical. And the thing that I love about it the most is you are allowing people to be who they really are. And so much of what we do in the world, in our classrooms, me as a teacher, I think that's why the students, and it's sad that the students really, really like Miss B, because Miss B accepts them for who they are. And we there's no limits, there's no barriers, and when we accept each other for who we are, then we can let all that artificial stuff go and really get deep and focus on the real stuff. And by giving children an opportunity to show up as they are and recognize that in that sometimes it looks really ugly and it hurts, and sometimes it's hard, but I'm here for you, we got you, and we can do this together. I mean, that in itself is life changing. It's transformative, and it takes a lot of courage, and for sure you're fierce and you're strong, and I'd love to listen to more and more of you, because obviously for you to be where you are today, it's no mistake you had to go through this, and you are now becoming the leader for others. So I congratulate you, and I love just the mission behind what you're doing is whoever you are, whatever you've been through, whatever is hanging off you, around you, and whatever your garbage is, bring it here, and we still love you, and you can still work, and you can still be successful.
Yes. And what I love about this is, again, the awareness. See, here's another nonprofit organization that probably some people don't even know, Marie, and what she's doing, and now bring it here so people can figure and say, oh my God, there's an organization like that to help fight for feminine, and all what you're doing. Yes, this is very powerful, Marie. I'm telling you, you are really, yes, I can see you going through heights with this because it's needed. And sometimes people don't even realize it until somebody stands up like you and says, yes, that's why I created this, because I know it's a need.
And how do people get involved? How can they, what's the process? What do we do? Go to your website?
If you are someone that is looking for a different lifestyle, if you want to work 4 to 40 hours a week, if you want to take a rest because you're an exhausted entrepreneur and still have cash flow, if you want to find a place where you can lift your skills and go back into a corporate role, go to fwdrevolution.com. And there's an opportunities link. Just go. There's even a spot that says, I don't know where I fit. Love me anyway. And we will. If you are a company that is looking to maintain diversity, we are here to be able to fill the roles that maybe cash flow hasn't allowed you to fill effectively, and not completely decimate the diversity of your organization. And then when you are ready to hire those folks, you've got this cadre of badass diverse people that have been working on your contracts, and they know your business. It's easier onboarding, it's easier and better, longer traction. It's a win. It's a win across all boards. And if you're someone who wants to reopen your business, we're going to open the kimono. That's what we do, is help small businesses thrive. We have a home and a space for you. We also have recruiters that are dedicated to freelance opportunities that you'll get premier placement with just by being part of the revolution. And then comes all of the emotional support and the solidarity and the things that we lost and we gave up when our doors closed around us. But we are looking for the rabble rousers, the women that are willing to shout from the mountaintops that this is not okay. And those folks that are going to agitate and help us elevate.
Yeah.
When you said, you know what, when you said that, Marie, I just was thinking about Serena, because I could see her saying, yeah, let's take this, Marie, let's go, forget them.
And you're based out of Chicago? You're based out of Chicago?
We are, but we work mainly in the US. We have some subset organizations in Belize and Sarajevo, but we really do look to work with those in the states that are tired of the status quo and the bullshit and the exhaustion and the degrading situations that keep us from being who we can be.
Yeah.
And we're done.
Yeah, done. Well, Marie, I know with time, but I wanted to make sure, because we wanted to hear your story, what you're doing. You're a world changer. I'm just in love with what you're doing. I'm in love with you and what you're doing. And thank you for, we want you to come back. We always ask our nonprofits to come back because we know you're always doing something, and we want people to remind people who you are too. So you're always welcome to come back. But what I want to do, because with time, but still I want to make sure to give you at least, 30 seconds to say any last words to the audience that you want me to hear. And then we'll just close out after you're done.
I'm on it. We have a world to change. If the patriarchy was working for you before, fantastic. If you weren't happy with how things were going and how you were placed in this world, you are the women we want to support. You are the others that are part of our collaborative. We have a spot for you. Don't let the world tell you that you don't fit into the box. The box wasn't meant for you. The world was.
Yay. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Oh, the box wasn't meant for you. The world was. Oh my God. That needs to be put on I don't know, just on everywhere. Little pins and stuff on us.
Yeah.
Wow, Marie. Thank you so much. We got the website. Please, people, come show support to this wonderful, wonderful queen, this lady that's doing dynamic things in the world. I also want to just thank my co-host, as always. I love her dearly, Miss Serena. We will be back next Thursday with another nonprofit, but please contact these nonprofits. They're standing tall, and they have a voice that maybe you might have, but you might have been scared at the time, but they're there to help you bring your voice out. So please, I always tell people, reach out. So with that said, Marie, we'll be back later. We're going to bring you back. We're bringing you back. So we'll see everybody next Thursday. Take care.
Bye-bye.